Hey guys, how's it going? Denonu here. As you guys can see, this is the Destiny beta. Now that the beta settled down, I know the game's about to drop in about probably 3 or 4 days here. I figured I'd give my thoughts on it, and basically the things I liked about the beta, the things I didn't like, and basically my hopes upon the game itself. Because there are a little bit things I'm shaky about, but anyway, now that all the hype has died down about the beta, I figured I'd pretty much, I just didn't want to make this video after, during I was playing the beta and everything like that, because I was feeling the game a whole lot. Now that it's kind of died down and everything like that, I just didn't want to make it while I had it on my mind, because I didn't want that to influence my judgments and everything. I'm not a person to get hyped by a game. For the most part, I'm normally just, if I'm excited about a game, I'll pick it up, I'll play it. That's just the way it is. I know I was kind of pumped to play Watch Dogs, and I played the hell out of that, and I enjoyed it. I don't get hyped about a game. I'm not one of those kind of people that get hyped on a game and then it fails to live up to the hype, and then I feel mad that I bought it. I'm not one of those gamers. But the things I didn't like, to get back on track, right out the gate, I didn't like how all of the classes, for the most part, played the same. No matter which class you picked, it was either every class could use every gun. What else? Every class had their own unique armors, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. There was no incentive or no reason to, let's say, pick a Warlock over a Titan. It's just pick which special move you want. That's what I was getting out of it. So it wasn't that, that hard to make a decision. I just picked the one I like. And that's what it seemed like. When I was playing it, I was playing with a couple of other people. I was playing with a friend of mine. Probably going to be playing with him once it drops. But it's just, that's just the kind of feel I got from it. Like when I would roll up on a situation with him, and then you have other people that you see in the world doing the same thing, I didn't feel like, oh man, this quest would be so much easier if I had a hunter watching my back, or if I had a Titan to tank damage. It was just like, you just play the game a little bit differently, pull back a little bit. There was no reason for the classes. Now, from what I've heard that they are going to make the classes more distinctive leading into the game. Like, once you level them up past like rank 15 and 16 and stuff. I know it's just the beta, so you never got that far. Maybe things will change. That's what I'm hoping. Like when the game comes out and I play it, and I'm hoping that by the end of the leveling cycle, the classes are more distinct. There's more reason to use them. Because as far as weapons go, everybody can use all the same weapons for the most part. So that I didn't really like how it felt in the beta. Hoping they change it. What else I didn't like? Mind you, this is not going to be a big list. I'm a huge sci-fi buff. I'm not one of those Call of Duty gamers that are transitioning to a new game. I love me some Halo back in the day. So this game kind of feels like they took Halo, Borderlands, and Mass Effect and mushed them all into the game. The gunplay feels like Halo, not as strict. Feels like they toned it down a little bit, but I'm liking the fact that it's skill based and that you have to get headshots to do more damage and all that stuff. Loving the hell out of that. That's what I actually don't like about Call of Duty and other casual shooters, where it forces everybody to pretty much, you can shoot somebody in the foot and kill them, because it takes the skill out of the game. I want the skill. I want the competitiveness out of it. Not because I'm big on, the competitive scene, but just that it builds skill. Like if somebody is good at the game, he should be poning noobs. That's just the way it is. The noobs should have to get better. That's just how I see it. But because it's like, that's how it is in life. When you're dealing with competitive sports, you ain't gonna have somebody who sucks at playing football beasting people who've been playing football for like the past 15, 20 years. It's just not gonna work. Besides that, the visuals are everything is sleek, shiny, sharp edges, and clean surfaces. Liking that. Liking that a whole lot. It feels like a sci-fi, like everything is futuristic. That's cool. Loving the maps. The map designs, at least as far as the multiplayer, done very well. There wasn't really a map where I'm like, oh man, I hate this map. There may have been a couple maps where it's like, oh, I dislike it versus this other one. But that wasn't the case. For the most part, they all kind of had their own unique visual style. As far as the main story of the game, liking what they did. Liking what they did with Earth and the Moon and the few areas. However, one of the things I dislike is, to me, when you played on Earth, that was a bigger open area. When you got back into orbit, when you were on the little, I forget what they call it, so I'm going to call it like it was in Mass Effect. When you got back to the Citadel, when you had, like when you could buy all your guns and stuff, that area was small. I am hoping that they make that area as big as the Citadel was in Mass Effect, where you have like 2 or 3 different floors, you have a club area, because that area was just basically 3 rooms, maybe 4 if you count that the Iron Banner location. So I'm hoping that area is going to be bigger so you can actually walk around and do more things with and socialize with people. That's what I'm hoping that is. I'm hoping they also have a party chat system, meaning how everybody in the game, when you were walking around the Citadel talking, nobody was talking. It's like they cut it out. And since by this being a console game, if you can't socialize in some aspect as far as the Citadel, then what's the point in even having it? That's how I see it. Unless you just have the shops and that's it. Because there's no point to socialize there. Why do you have all the dance moves? Why can you walk around and see everybody else? It just seems stupid to me. So I'm hoping that when the game comes out, that they have voice communications. When you walk near somebody and they're talking on the mic, you hear what they're saying. Unless unless you can turn that feature off and mute other people if you don't want to hear. That's what I'm hoping. Because if they're trying to make this game feel like a in-depth world kind of sort of experience, then that's one of the things that it needs. You have to be able to talk to other people, not just the people you're gaming with or your co-op buddies, unless you want to do that. Because, I mean, you can't have a big open world or pseudo open world game like this talk about how you have all these big and people everywhere in the world, and it just takes you out of the game. It doesn't make it as believable, at least to me. Another thing I didn't like,
5 minutes left.
Basically, and this is another pet peeve of mine that I hope changes when the game drops, but so far everything I'm seeing is telling me something different, and that scares me. And that's basically the map sizes. From what I've heard, I haven't read any up-to-date news on this or anything, so I may be out of date or I may be wrong. Don't quote me. Is that Earth was like the biggest area in the beta. From what I've heard, you have what? Venus, Mars, the Moon, Earth, and there may be another planet in there, but I could be wrong. But if there's only 4 areas and they're all about the size of the Earth was in the beta, because from what I remember, unless they reneged and changed it, I remember reading before the beta dropped that the Earth size map, that's how it was going to be in the regular game. They wasn't going to add more to it as far as how big it was. If all the areas on every planet are as big as the area on Earth was, that's going to be a problem. People are going to play through the game in 2 weeks, and then you're going to run out of content. Unless you have like 40, 50 hour type quests on Earth before you move to another planet. If it's like it was in the beta, where it's like, okay, you have a couple story missions, and then you have, let's say, 4 or 5 side missions you can do, and those random events, it's not enough content. For as much hype and for as much hoopla this game has, people are going to play through the whole entire game in 2 weeks and then put it down because you don't have enough content. Like that Earth map, don't get me wrong, like to me, that Earth map should be like 4 or 5 times bigger. And every planet you go to should be 4 or 5 times bigger. The same way. That way, people shouldn't be able to play through the game in 2 weeks. Because I know, you ran like you could run through the entire part that they had in the beta, and like I said, I know it's just the beta, But I'm saying you could run around that whole map in like 1 hour. That's kind of, and that's doing quests. You know, like it's only gonna take you like a few hours to go everywhere on Earth. And let's say 2 or 3 hours go by, you did everything on Earth, and like then another 3 hours is on Mars, and another 3 hours on Venus. That's like what, one fucking day on a day off if you play it. So that's a problem. I'm hoping that you have more planets, but everything that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing it. I'm only seeing like 3 or 4, maybe 5 planet type areas, and I just don't think it's going to be big enough. I mean, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I just watched an unboxing video where they had, I guess, talking about the limited edition, and it had a map of the game. And the map of, you know, the universe is the same map that they showed you in the beta, where it's only like 4 or 5 planet areas. And I now have and I hope that they change it by the time it launches, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think people are gonna play through the game, people are gonna get tired of it, and people are gonna put it down and then start waiting for DLC. And that's what I don't want to happen, because those random events that they had, if they're like the beta, they were short and far in between. It's not enough. You have to have like 5 or 6 random events backing things up and everything like that, because like I said, it wasn't enough. You had a random event that popped up like every 10, maybe 15 minutes, but at the same time it was just like you were going around doing certain stuff beside the point, and it just wasn't enough content. That like it wasn't enough, let me say this, that wasn't enough content, because I'm repeating my words here. It wasn't enough different content, let me say that. It was always the same thing. Oh, this thing fell down, let me go defend it, or go get this thing and do that. It wasn't a lot, like it wasn't different types of quests you can do. Like if they had like one type of, let's say 15 minutes go by, you see a random quest, boom, okay, go defend this objective. That's one. Then you had another one that where this other random event happened and it took you on this raid in this dungeon area. That was another type. And then you had like, let's say 4 or 5 different types of random events. And then as the game cycle, as like the first year in the game happened, you added more types of content. That will be cool. But if it's just 1 or 2 different types of random events, it's going to get tiring pretty quickly. It's not going to hold people's attention, and it's not going to keep them doing them, because they're going to be the same thing over and over and over again. As I said, it's not a lot of content. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm completely wrong by when the game drops. That way that, you know, it doesn't feel the same. I want people to play this game and have it develop a new franchise. I know it's going to do it regardless, because of its Bungie and Activision. They're not losing money anytime soon over this game. But I'm hoping that people play this game throughout its life cycle. You know, like well into the year. Like you should be able to, like to me, in a game like this, if you have tons of content like that, I want to play through the whole game in, let's say, about 2 or 3 months. You know, or maybe by Christmas time, you know, complete the major areas in the game and things like that. Because, you know, you want it to be ongoing. I mean, if that's the whole thing of you stuck in this world, you want it to be like an MMO. You want it to be ongoing. You just don't want to play through it and then stop after 2 weeks and be like, okay, that was Destiny. I didn't really like it. It was lacking. You know, I don't want people to feel that way. But I just have a feeling that's like the biggest fear I have as far as this game. I just have a feeling that it's not going to have enough content. I have a feeling it's going to be like, it's not going to be as bare bones as like Titanfall was. I'm not trying to compare it to that, because I think that game was as bare bones as you can get. I don't think this is going to be like that. This is probably going to be a decent $60 game, but I have a feeling that it's going to have some content, and then the rest of the content is going to be DLC down the line. You know, that's the feeling I have. And I think by the end of the year, this game is going to be as big as what I wanted to be on release. Because they're probably going to add, like every DLC might add maybe 1 or 2 different type planet areas that you can go to, and other missions and other content, or maybe they'll patch in free stuff. I don't know, but I just have a feeling they're going to, because it's Activision, I know they're going to milk the hell out of it. It's like they milked the hell out of Call of Duty. So I just have a feeling that most of the game is going to be DLC. Like all the in-depth content that you play on for months and years on end is going to be all DLC area stuff. And I just want the core game to have a lot of content to draw in a lot of people and actually keep them playing the game, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Other than that, I know we experienced the beta, so I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, I want more weapons and armor. I thought that was done pretty good. I would like to see more armor, but I have no doubt that they're gonna add more armor when the game comes out. I know with character customization, they was missing a lot of customization options that people would want. So I'm assuming those are gonna be in a regular game, like beards, facial hair, that kind of sort of thing. Plus the details you can make in your character, meaning like hairstyles, facial type stuff you can change to make yourself more unique. I'm hoping they add in a lot of stuff like that, and they only just gave us a little bit during the beta. Now if they only have what they had in the beta come release day, that's gonna be a problem, because I mean you can't really make yourself that unique. You can a little bit, but I know me, like I didn't like none of the hairstyles. I wanted some more hairstyles to go through and look through to make my character. I had to settle for a hairstyle, and I'm not want to do that. I want to pick one that I like and and use, because it's an RPG. I want to make my character how I want to make them. Nah, I don't want to settle to just play the game. So I'm hoping they add in new hairstyles, new details, new things for character customization. I'm thinking they're gonna have all that, because you had a lot of stuff that was in the menus that just wasn't accessible, like things that look like skins for your ghosts, skins for your bikes, skins for your spaceships, and things like that. So I don't think it's gonna be, I just don't think we're gonna get what's in the beta. I think we're gonna get more, and I'm sure they're gonna probably be selling bigger and better stuff, and giving you DLC items and all that stuff. So I have a feeling that's gonna be bigger and better. I don't have worries about that per se so much, but I just hope they have it on release, as far as like the character customization stuff. I don't want that to come in like, oh yeah, we should have had that, 3 month, like when the game came out, but we had it like by Christmas. No, should not have to do that. Like Titanfall is just now adding in pilot only combat. That should have been in since day one. Maybe people would have been still playing the game right now, but they waited too long. Now nobody playing it. That's what I don't want to happen, you know what I'm saying? What else? Music-wise, I thought the game was pretty good. Sound design was on point. I have no problems with that. As far as how they balanced the weapons, I didn't really have a problem. I know some people did. As far as multiplayer, me, I didn't have no problems. Maybe because I could aim. So getting kills to me wasn't that hard. However, I know when it comes to the story, I wanted to play it like I played, I'm not trying to compare it to Borderlands, but me personally as a gamer, I play long range sniping, long range with assault rifles and scopes for the most part. And when I played Borderlands, in that game you have assault rifle, snipers, everything else. I mean, if you guys play the game, you know what I'm talking about. But I played through that game with a sniper rifle as my primary. And in Destiny, the first thing I tried to do was do that. I was like, okay, I'm going to use sniper rifles because that's my thing. That's what I like. But the sniper rifles didn't have a lot of ammo. You only had like 1 or 2 magazines before you had to pick up some more ammo. I wanted the snipers to be like, let's say, like in Mass Effect 2, where they had lower ammo, but let's say you had a couple buffs that you can put on to increase your ammo, so you can use a sniper rifle as your primary if you want. That's what I want. And maybe because it was a beta, maybe they didn't have all the stuff, but it seemed like that they didn't want people to run around with the sniper. They didn't want people to run around with the heavy weapons. They wanted people to run around with an assault rifle, or a shotgun, or a pistol, like the class weapons. Like hunters are for pistols, assault rifles are for warlocks, shotguns and some types of assault rifles were for Titans. You know, it just seems like that's the way they balance the game ammo wise. You know, you have more ammos than you did for the heavier weapons like the snipers, the rifle launchers, the light machine guns. And I'm just hoping that maybe that was because of the beta, although I don't think it is. I don't think that's going to change. I haven't read anything that doesn't mean that it is going to change, but I'm kind of hoping that it does, to be honest. Another thing I didn't like when it came to the long range scopes, I'm one of those kind of people. I want to put a sniper scope in my assault rifle. You know, the game didn't let me do that. And I don't know why games balance themselves like that. Like Call of Duty does the same shit. I don't know why Battlefield, same reason. I don't know why game developers don't let you do that. Because to me, it doesn't, I ain't gonna say it doesn't seem right, but maybe they don't want people to do that because then people wouldn't pick up sniper rifles. But to me, sniper rifles do extra damage. So that's the trade-off. If I put on a long range scope for my gun, yeah, a sniper rifle would be better in that situation. But at the same time, my bullets are gonna do less damage. I still gotta shoot far out. So that doesn't really, why can't I just have a scope on my gun? It's just gonna make, you know, it just fits my playstyle better. That's what I want. Since I can't have that, that's the reason why I want it. Maybe the majority don't feel that way, but I want to take those extreme range scopes and be able to put them, even if not on regular automatic assault rifles, maybe put them on a semi-automatic weapon. Because in real life, guess what? You can do that shit. You know, I can take a long range scope and put it on an assault rifle. The bullet might not be able to go that far, although most in real life do. So, you know, why not have it in games? It's like, what the hell? Because it seems like the longest scope you can get in the game, at least in the beta, was like a 2x scope or like a 4x scope. You know, that's not long enough for me. I want like a 6x, a 8x, a 12x. You know, do it like Battlefield, hell, with the 40x scopes on the snipers. That's what I want, but on an assault rifle, you know, just because that fits my playstyle. That's what I like doing. And maybe that'll change when the game comes out. Although I have a sneaking suspicion that it won't, you know, because that's just the way games are nowadays. They don't tend to do that. So I'm hoping it changes, but at the end of the day, I don't think it will. I don't think patching and fixing issues is going to be a problem. I know Bungie normally stays on point with all that kind of sort of stuff for the most part. I know they did with Halo, so I have a feeling they're just going to do the same with this. It's not going to be like Call of Duty where shit is overpowered or broken and they just refuse to fix it outright. So I was kind of hoping that would be the case, because with Activision you never know, because I'm assuming the game developers who make Call of Duty want to fix certain problems that's in their game, and Activision just won't let them do it. That's what I think is the cause of that. But at the same time, I know with Destiny, with Bungie, with you know, Bungie normally stays on top of all that shit for the most part. So I don't think those Call of Duty problems are going to extend to Destiny because they're under the same publisher, Activision. I don't believe that's the case. But there wasn't really a lot that I disliked about the game, to be honest. They gave you a little bit of story, just enough to kind of, you know, get your mouth watering a little bit without diving into the game story. And that's something else that I hope's up. I'm hoping that the story is good, because right now it seems kind of cheesy. Oh, there's this darkness that's coming along and you have to fight it. It's like they're being very vague. And I'm hoping they're being very vague with the story because they want you to experience it in game. That's what I'm hoping. I hope the game storyline doesn't do that the whole time you're playing all the way through it. One thing I hated about Borderlands didn't have enough story for me. You had story there, a hell of a lot better than it was in part 1. Don't get me wrong. Borderlands 2 had decent. I can't say decent. It had a story. That's more than part 1 had. Part 1 had a premise. So I'm hoping that they don't do Destiny. I know it's a whole different developer who makes that and everything, but I'm hoping that Destiny doesn't have the same thing, where you have a premise and you have a little bit of story without them telling you really anything in it. I don't think that's the case. I mean, Destiny seems heavily cinematic, so I have a feeling the story is going to be decent. I just want to experience it what it is, and I'm hoping that it doesn't suck. I'm hoping it's not something that's just a 10-minute story and then here 10-minute story, play the whole game, and then oh yeah, you beat the main bad guy. You know, I'm hoping it's not that simple. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that one guy who works for the Traveler might turn on you. I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those people who always sees the, always suspicious and don't trust people. But it's, I have a high suspicion that the guy who's the guy who talks for the Traveler, like he might turn on you, do some dirty shit, kind of fuck you up later on in the game. So I'm hoping they have some twists and turns like a regular story would. I know video games have a tendency to just, unless you go into it story first, you have a tendency to give you bare bones. You get a main character, you get an antagonist, you get a premise, you get some here and there, and that's it. Prime example would that be Halo. Don't get me wrong, love the story, love the books, but if you play just the games, you're missing out on the entire Halo universe. A lot of that shit that's in the books should have been in the game. A lot of the stuff that, you see Chief or you read about or you imagine Chief doing in the books, like running at super speed, showing the Spartans doing some super strength stuff, or making them feel superhuman, none of that is in the game. Why not? If he's a Spartan. You didn't do nothing superhuman in Halo until Halo 4. All the rest of the Halo games, you kind of felt like you were an ODST wearing power armor. That was it. Because that's how human you were. That's, as far as what you saw, what you did. It's not like in Mass Effect where, you as Commander Shepard, you had all these badass powers if you chose to be a biotic. So that's, you can see yourself being different. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm also hoping with Destiny that you have more characterization in your game. And what I mean by that is I really hope to God that they don't make you the faceless mute that most games do when it comes to first-person shooters. For instance, Halo, Half-Life, Call of Duty. Hell, I think even Battlefield did it for a little bit, but they showed you in the cutscenes. But most games that when you play them, you're the faceless mute. You don't talk during the story. You just stand there and have people talk to you. Hate that. It's like, come on, this is next gen here. We need to step our game up. Mass Effect changed the game when it came to that. I ain't saying you gotta have dialogue trees and all that, but have your character fucking talk. Come on. Give me a reason to like myself. I'm hoping that Destiny changes that, and although you didn't see none of that during the beta, it's just, I'm hoping, that's one of my hopes for the game. But overall, I know I kind of rambled on for a long ass time, but I'm hoping the game sells. At the end of the day, I'm not a hater. It's one of those games where it's like, I'm glad to see something fucking new drop. I'm tired of playing Call of Duty, tired of playing Battlefield. I'm glad Halo was going in another direction because it makes the game more interesting. I want to play new shit. This is like next gen, and we have all old franchises for the most part. It's like, come on, where's the new hotness? That's what I'm hoping Destiny is. Because besides this and Watch Dogs, it's the only two new IPs dropping this year. For the most part, everything else is either sequels, older games that I'm still excited to play. Don't get me wrong, but I want something new. Where's that new next gen experience? Destiny, I don't think it's going to be a next gen experience. I don't. Because they're still making it for the 360 and everything like that. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be a new IP, but I don't think it's not gonna change the game. If you guys know what I mean. Until they make a game strictly for, let's say, next gen and PC, that's gonna be straight out, beginning to end, next gen. We're gonna push the boundaries and think of new creative ideas. The next gen experience game isn't gonna happen. So I hope people don't go into Destiny thinking that's what it's gonna be, because it's not. It definitely isn't. But anyway, those were my thoughts on it. I'm sorry for rambling on like this. I just had a lot on my mind about the game, and I figured I'd put out this video before the game drops, because I just didn't want to give my thoughts on it. Like I said way back at the beginning, I didn't want to give my thoughts on this when the game was out, when I was feeling the beta, so that's why I waited a couple weeks before actually putting this out. So I hope you guys like it. If you do, you want to see, let me know. Bug me on Twitter. Bug me down there in the comment section. I read all of those. So if you want to hear me talk about something else, like I said, let me know. But my name is Denonu, and I'll see you guys in the next one.